There isn't a single passage in the Bible that teaches that Satan fell and took a third of the angels with him in primeval days, or at all. Zero. This is the basic problem. I'm going to bring up what I think is the main problem, and that is Peter and Jude reference this incident, and they do so in such a way that affirms that they believed that the sons of God who sinned, the angels that sinned, were supernatural beings. They're not humans. And what they add elements that they can't get from anywhere else other than sources that know the original Mesopotamian backdrop. Now that's a mouthful. What do I mean? Well, let's start with Peter. And again, this is unpacked in the Demons book and Reversing Hermon and Unseen Realm to some extent. Here's what Peter says. For if God did not spare angels when they sinned. Let's just stop there. Peter mentions angels that sinned. If he did not spare the ancient world but preserved Noah, and then he goes to the Sodom and Gomorrah story. There's a chronology here. Angels that sinned, the flood, and then later the Sodom and Gomorrah story. Peter's discussing false teachers, and things that, happened in the Old Testament. He's using them, as a foil, these things that happen as a foil to just talk about false teachers. And the false teacher angle is going to become pretty important as well. But let's isolate our discussion to this one thing. Angels, plural, that sinned. What other event other than Genesis 6 could Peter possibly be thinking of? Where are there angels, plural, that sinned in the Old Testament before Noah? Or any place? The answer is zero. There are no passages in the Old Testament that have angels as a group sinning other than Genesis 6, 1 through 5. Zero. You might be thinking, well, Mike, didn't Satan fall and take a third of the angels with him? And then you have the fall happen in Eden. And well, yeah, you hear that a lot. I mean, I heard that, as a young believer, I heard that. There isn't a single passage in the Bible that teaches that Satan fell and took a third of the angels with him in primeval days, or at all. Zero. The closest you get, in fact, if you had a concordance, you can validate this. The closest you get is Revelation 12. This is the only place in the Bible, not just the Old Testament, in the entire Bible, that you have the number 3 or third with the number angel or angels appear in the same verse. This is it. This is the only place that you get third of the angels talk in the entire Bible. War arose in heaven, dragon and his angels fought back, so on and so forth. You've got this war going on in heaven. You read through the rest of Revelation 12. And here's the problem. What is the context for the war in heaven? Well, right here, 2 verses earlier. The woman who was pregnant gave birth to a male child, one who is to rule all the nations with a rod of iron. But her child was caught up to God and to his throne. It's the birth of the Messiah. And the catching up to the throne is the ascension, the resurrection and the ascension. Those events cause war in heaven. It's basically, this is, Satan has to fight now the kingdom of God. That's the simple message. The third of the angels, Michael, you could go down here, I'm not going to read the whole thing to you. The third of the stars as well is how the actual language goes. And we don't even know if the stars are angels or not, but I'm just sort of assuming that for the sake of the discussion. This is the only passage that has that language, and it's connected to not a time before the fall, before Eden was made. No, it refers to the birth of the Messiah. I would suggest to you that the birth of the Messiah came after Eden. I'm being a little sarcastic here, but I'm hoping you get the point. There is no other candidate for Peter to refer to when he says angels that sinned, especially when it leads into Noah. Let's go back to that. There is no other candidate at all other than Genesis 6.